Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the April 28th, 1997 edition of Raw is War, and the match card is as follows. We had Flash Funk taking on Rockabilly with the Honky Tonk Man. We had the Road Warriors taking on Doug Furnas and Philip LaFon. Owen Hart takes on Rocky Maivia for the Intercontinental Championship. Vader takes on Jesse James. That's a generous description of the events. Goldust.
Takes on is crazy.
Goldust gets his hands on Hunter Hearst Helmsley finally, and the Undertaker takes on the British Bulldog in a non-title champion versus championship match. So this one was a lot. This one had many had a lot of unexpecteds. I was not expecting it to have so much prayer. Or some of the surprise returns. So fun.
Yeah. And I want to say off the rip, because we're going to get into Brian Pillman, because it's literally the first thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm furious about how long it took, because I think that it shortened a lot of matches I actually wanted to see wrestling. Like,
I agree. I feel like we paid for it in what could have been very good matches.
Thank you, because we were texting earlier, like Xavier sent me the lineup earlier today and was like, this looks like it's going to be a fantastic episode. And just based off the matches, like he just sent me the matches and I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I don't even know which one I'm more excited for.
Right.
And then I feel like the first segment took so much time. We're like, okay, that's it. And I was like, but I wanted to see them fight, like actually really go off, and we'll get to it. But like, I'm just putting that out there from the jump, because that was crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So the episode starts with a recap of essentially the Hart Foundation and Stone Cold saga, essentially the street fight from last week, how Bret Hart got injured, the ensuing madness that was Raw is War last week. So this episode starts with Brian Pillman coming out, as it is time for him to give us an explanation as to why he did what he did to Stone Cold. Really, we get just out of left field. He's like, a lot of you may think you know Brian Pillman, but really, like, I'm a sensitive guy, and what happened last week left me deeply disturbed. And he's talking about, like, there's just lots of just thinly veiled religious words.
Thinly veiled, not even veiled.
No, you're right.
Not even veiled.
There's
he
just
said, I am
like,
the wizard behind the curtain.
Yeah, he was very much like there was a lot of glorious awakening. And then he like basically what essentially starts a 2-hour prayer in the middle of the ring. And he said that we had to pray for our misgivings. So he basically asks everybody in Omaha, Nebraska to pray with him. He prays for Bret Hart's recovery and that it is speedy. And he prays for all of you who rejoiced in the brutality of the week prior, because clearly if you enjoyed that, you are a sinner. Then he prayed essentially for the annihilation and destruction of Stone Cold Steve Austin specifically, and that he gets stricken down. I
just want to say, like, the way you just described it sounded even cooler than it actually was.
Yeah, no, it was very forced.
Like, you talking about it, I was like, if it measured up to what you just said, I feel like it would, but it was so much lamer than you guys could possibly imagine. Like, in my opinion.
No,
like you describing it as like he's praying for the annihilation of Stone Cold. Like, I might get behind that if you were describing it to me, but then in actual like reality, I was like, this is horrible. I literally said, I was like, it's giving Joel Osteen, and I hate that. I hate it. Like, I hate Pastor Brian Pillman. Like, not for me.
Not for me. I was gonna say it was giving Westboro Baptist Church because like name a church that also prays
talk about it.
For the annihilation of anything. Like that's crazy. Like that's bonkers. Like
no, really though. That's
like,
wild.
That is some
crazy.
flawed logic and way to like simultaneously like try to endear yourself to a religious crowd while also just weaponizing it immediately. And you're just like, okay.
So bad.
Um so
So bad.
Stone Cold shows up on the Titantron, and basically, in true Stone Cold fashion, he's like, "You better pray I don't come down there and kick your ass right now. I don't know what all of this is."
Love.
Basically, he tells Brian Pillman, he's like, "Not even Bret, whoever you're praying to, can save you." Um, and
Mm.
then like Brian Pillman makes him like turn the other cheek, like joke, I guess, and like just kind of like points his bum towards the entrance, which was kind of like I
If you're not gonna do a full moon, don't do it.
right. It's just like was just awkward because he's just kind of like just a fully grown man just bent over in the middle of the ring waiting. So like
Really weird. Really
really
weird
weird.
vibes, actually.
Really weird visual. So basically Stone Cold does make his way out. And what is seemingly just a trap that has been laid by the Hart Foundation, but Stone Cold's a little too fast for them, a little too sneaky. He swerves right past Brian Pillman and escapes the Bulldog and Owen. And basically, all the while he's like escaping, he's just laughing at them for being stupid. He's just like, "You guys are so
Love it.
dumb. You guys are you really thought you were gonna get me. That's so cute." Brian Pillman, because the prayer is not done and won't be done for the entirety of the episode, has the Hart Foundation just join him in this group prayer. And he's like passing around the microphone, just like, "Who do you want to pray for? Who do you want to pray for?" I was like,
Mm-mm.
"Sir, I have been on church retreats that have less prayer. This is crazy.
Yup.
Like this is
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely bonkers."
let's talk
And
about it.
so all the while, like they're praying, there's something about like the family that prays together, stays together, nonsense. And then Stone Cold, it cuts to Stone Cold in the background, just opening, like randomly opening doors, like looking for something. He finds like an axe, rips off the head of it, and then he's like, perfect. And then makes his way back out to the ring because he's just like, if they're gonna have
Which,
mad people, then I might as well just come with a weapon. I don't know why you took off the axe
that's what I'm
head,
saying.
but I mean, I guess we can't really maim on national television. So,
I guess not. And like, why have an axe laying about in like the electric room?
right.
Those are my questions.
I don't
Like,
know.
just not even like hung up and like this is its place, break in case of emergency, just like on the floor in like the plate, like the where the power box is. They were like,
Right.
yeah, that's where that goes. I don't
I
know.
thought he was gonna
Which
go
is,
in there
I
to
mean,
like
I'm glad it was there.
I thought he was gonna go in there to
Cut the
like turn off.
lights,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To just be like, okay, that's enough on
Yes.
that because like that's
Enough
way too
praying.
much.
I'm really
Right.
over it.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I thought was gonna happen, which would have been epic, but oh
right.
well.
So Stone Cold comes down to the ring, chases them all off with the axe handle, and then he grabs the microphone and he goes, "You better give your soul to the Lord or somebody because your ass is mine." And it was A1. It was beautiful. And
So
then
good.
yeah, just a weird, very unexpected way to open the show. I just like really was not expecting it to just like take a religious twist. It was not where I thought this was
Yeah,
gonna go whatsoever.
not at all. I didn't think Brian Pillman's comeback was gonna be like in the name of the Lord. Like
Yeah,
really did not see that
I was
coming, didn't enjoy it,
I was not
wasn't here for
expecting like
it.
Born Again. That was not the vibe
Think
I thought we
it's
were
not in
getting.
that outfit, first of
No,
all.
and
Not in
this
that
is
outfit.
not like this is not like Touched by an Angel. Like, all right, like what are we watching? Like, this is crazy. Like, I
The
don't.
preacher's wife. Like, please, I really Angels in the outfield. I don't know
Like,
what this is, but I hate it.
no, I love Angels in the Outfield. It's actually a very good movie.
Oh no, love Angels in the Outfield. Don't even please, Danny Glover. But no, I not that. But yeah, it's not
Bad.
emulated. It wasn't emulating that. Couldn't even touch it. Just saying.
So bad. So now we finally get our first match, which is Flash Funk taking on Rockabilly. I love that on
The
commentary, Vince goes, for some reason, the Honky Tonk Man is managing like Billy Gunn for the most random reason. And I'm like, thank you for saying, like, I'm
thank you.
glad
Speak on
you
it.
the thing that's like crazy is he's commenting on this like not like as if he's not the booker. Like that's crazy to me. Is that Vince is like be like, oh, like that's so weird and random that like I was like, you did this. This is you. These are your ideas
You literally did
being
this.
played out. Like I don't understand. Um so, but I'm glad somebody said it because it needed to be said because we were all very, very confused as to why the Honky Tonk Man just was like, that guy punched me in the face, so he's got chutzpah. Like, and you're like, okay, that's the reason. That's it. Like, get a grip. Get a
Oh my
grip.
God.
The pick me
No,
energy on
literally.
Honky
Get
is
a
getting
grip.
ridiculous. So during this match, Bret Hart makes his entrance to the building, and for some reason he comes in an ambulance, which is not what happens after surgery. I don't know why. I don't know why they just like made that like a
The thing.
But no, they ambulances take you to the hospital. End of transaction. That's that's it.
That's pretty much it.
That they take you to the hospital. They don't shuffle you back and forth after surgery.
They don't then take you home.
That's
Yeah, and
not a thing.
the way that they had the paramedics standing on either side of the door with their arms crossed as if they were security, and I was like, oh, so
Bouncers.
thank you. And
Like
so we're bouncing. The paramedics have to bounce for Bret Hart now.
you know, Club Bulance.
That took me a whole half second. I was like, Bulance. I was like, what is?
It was a mistake.
Club Bulance. Over here, Club Bulance. It's VIPs only, and the only VIP is Bret Hart.
It's Bret Hart.
That's it.
He's the only one worth praying for, and the only one that can get in the club. Apparently.
Oh my God! And he's like, I don't even see how you can hate from outside of the club. You can't even get in.
Oh my God, so absurd.
Not Club Bulance, please. I'm sick. I'm gonna use that.
So the match is like fine. It's fine. I refuse to take an interest in anything
fine
in anything
Whatever.
the Honky Tonk Man puts his name
Amen.
to at this point. I was like, back in the day, we want to watch some old school Intercontinental like championship matches. Sure, go to town. This over it. So over it. So bored.
Already, and it's like his third match, and honestly, I am offended on behalf of Funk Flex, because I know too much about him now. Like, Too Cool Scorpio, like that was really that thing, and like the fact that now we're getting Funk Flex versus Rockabilly is insulting.
And it's just like, it's just boring. Like it's boring. Rockabilly is boring. There is nothing to it. Honky on the outside at some point just made me laugh because he's just like, break his freaking neck, and I'm just like, whoa, relax.
Oh, okay, well, he's like, murder.
No, and you're like, okay. Do you really want that on your rap sheet, you psycho?
Honestly, probably does. Let's be real.
You're actually 100% correct. Rockabilly does a DDT off the second rope, and then proceeds to just dance. Again using that term loosely. And it's the dismay. It is just,
you're just like, dance. I say that loosely
because it hurts, because it's just not accurate, and I hate to lie to y'all, but a dance is what it was called. And,
right like, I'm not trying to like mince my words here because we never do that, but like this, I mean,
this is, yeah,
and he had too much time this time, because before it was just the, I don't even want to do it, just the whatever that was, and then now he did like a
and
thank you, and the light bulb, whatever.
Yeah.
And now he had like extra time, and then like his finisher was that, and like didn't make it better or more interesting. Really upsetting.
So at one point, the Honky Tonk Man climbs his ass onto the apron. Flash Funk then launches Rockabilly into the Honky Tonk Man, picks up the victory, and then the Honky Tonk Man gets himself into the ring. He's getting distracting Flash Funk, and then Rockabilly comes up behind him and just swings that guitar for dear life.
It was so bad.
Yeah, really, really got him good with that one. Honestly, like if they just like leaned into the like guitar shot thing, I would be like here for that. You know what I mean?
Like if they were into that.
If they were just gallivanting around, just like knocking people out with guitars, sure. And you know what I mean? Like that's their music. I'm here for it. Beautiful. Love to see it.
Call it number 1 hit.
Thank you. Like, give me
Okay?
something.
It's that easy.
Think
It's
about it
that
a
easy.
little bit. Like, and it's just like, I don't need you to gyrate. Like,
Ooh!
see, the thing is that that's crazy is like the whole time, the Honky Tonk Man was just like, they need to be able to sing, they need to be able to dance, they need to be able to wrestle. And you're just like, okay, you got 1 out of the 3. So that's a
And
33%.
the 1 is generous.
Yeah, I mean, like, he can wrestle. It's not that. It's just like
Yeah.
33%, and you're calling that a success? That's an F, baby. That's an F.
And that's like
Like,
a low F.
that's what I'm.
That's like a low F.
Yeah, that's like a here, have your parents sign this F.
Bring
Like,
it
that's
back.
not,
Oh, that is a that's the talk to me after class on the paper. Face
fully.
down, folded when they
And
hand
he's
it to
out here
you.
just looking smitten every time Rockabilly does anything. He's just like, okay, I get it. I
Mm.
understand, like, your whole spiel is like, you've made this choice and now you gotta blow that smoke up his ass. But like, let's be realistic, guys. I was
That's
like, as far since he has linked up with Rockabilly, he has maybe won 50% of his matches. Maybe. That's generous. So what is he doing for you?
thank
Like,
you.
what is he doing for you? Honestly, I would rather see him begging for Sunny.
Oh,
I'd rather see him
whoa.
just
Say it.
prostrating himself for Sunny
More
than
interesting.
whatever this is, because
Oh my God.
it's not worth it.
Honestly, amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. If he had hid under that little bed, which we'll get to, he had hid under that little bed,
Mm-hmm.
popped out, baby, I
Right.
want you back,
Right.
would have been more interesting than what just occurred.
Hilarious.
Oh my
I would
God,
have
you're
ate that
so
up.
right. You're so, so right. Wow.
So I'm just waiting for this to just turn sour, and eventually Rockabilly just realizes that the Honky Tonk Man is not helping him in any way, shape, or form, and then they go split skis. But I don't know when this is gonna happen. I feel it coming, because there's, for some reason, the Honky Tonk Man has been involved in too many finishes where it went poorly for me not to believe that eventually
That's going to be
Rockabilly is
the
gonna be
thing.
like, what the F, dude? Like, why are you always making me lose?
Right.
So, or at
Agree.
least that's what I'm hopeful for. Fingers crossed.
Fingers
Fingers
crossed.
crossed. I guess just stay tuned in case there's more Honky Tonk news. So,
We'll keep you updated.
next it was announced that Bret had to have basically emergency knee surgery after the street fight with Stone Cold because of all the ridiculous chair shots to the knee and the sharpshooter that never ended.
Mm.
They show like some like footage of the actual surgery, but like with no context. They
No,
just started
none at all.
showing, they just like threw up surgery footage, and you're just like, okay, we're in ER now. Okay.
But it was like close up, like, and it looked, I was like, is someone cleaning out someone's ear? Like, it looked like a cotton
mm,
swab, like going in. And I was like, what are we watching right now? Like, and
yeah,
then they were like, oh, it's Bret Hart's knee surgery. And I was like,
but it was like after the
"Excuse?"
fact. Like, it
Oh,
was just like,
way after the fact. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they didn't preface anybody like, oh, like, and here's some footage from his knee. No, just blah.
Also, the way that you could have just gotten that clip, like if you YouTube like knee surgery, you can pretty much watch any surgery on YouTube. I
Right.
don't, anatomy class, but like literally, like I don't why do you want me to watch Bret Hart's knee get operated on? First of all, don't know that that's his knee. Also, like, why do I need to see that? What is like proof?
Right. I was like, he's in a wheelchair.
He's
I
wrapped
don't.
up.
I'm
We
good.
saw it. We saw the
Again, I have
carnage.
zero
I believe
follow-up
you.
questions after you told me. I have zero follow-up questions.
Oh my
That's
God, I
it.
love that.
We have some fun signs in the crowd today. There was a
So
Bret the
many.
Cis Man heart sign, which I thought was just tickled me.
Yeah, and it
So,
was like because we earlier today we were discussing future merch ideas. And it was kind of like similar to what we were talking about, but with someone else. We won't spoil it, but like you know what,
mhm.
like kind of same
Yeah, yeah,
vein
yeah,
energy.
yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I was
I
like,
love
kind of
that.
maybe a sign. But yeah, there was also they were in Nebraska, right? Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a Blue World Order sign with
Listen.
someone dressed as Big Stevie Cool walking around like holding it. And I was like, this is
This is great.
the
Listen,
influence,
I know
the weight she
the
carries,
reach,
the
like,
reach.
love to see it. Love to see it.
Love.
Bret has really stuck to this hyena metaphor,
Mm-hmm.
a la Lion King, just keeps going back to it, keeps going back to it. Stone Cold's a hyena. everyone and every American fan ever is apparently also a hyena. Sometimes hyenas attack lions. I'm the big bad lion in the jungle. That was the gist of that. Although he does really hit the nail on the head with this next line. And he goes on to, use his like typical best there is, best there was, best there ever will be catchphrase. And he's like, it's probably really annoying for me to like tell you guys all the time like how great I am, like, isn't it? And they all like cheer, they're like, ah, and they're like, now you know how the rest of the world feels about America. And it was just like
Woo!
shots fired. And
Girl.
it hurts because it's true. We know this
Yes.
now. We have a lot of years of learning some truths to to understand that is the reality of who we are.
Yes, let's hold hands. We'll get through it together.
But it elicited quite the patriotic response from the crowd.
Oof.
The USA chants, as they are known to do.
Yeah, I mean, he single-handedly exemplified in the most simplistic way the idea of American exceptionalism, like, and just wrapped it up, and they did not like that.
No,
They
they did
did
not.
not like that.
But I
So,
mean,
meanwhile, you and I were like,
no, living
wow,
for
that
it.
was
We
kind of a
live
serve.
for it. No,
Wait, but also at one point he says like, you are a sick and depraved society, and everyone cheered.
Yeah.
They said 4th of July, honey. Like they cheered. They were like sick depraved.
I was like, say less. So basically, he basically makes the threat like he's like, that like ambulance I rolled in on. I'm gonna make sure by the end of the night that Stone Cold is the one on that ambulance, essentially. And then so casually they did this next bit. They show a I guess a like cutaway from a match where the Legion of Doom is taking on the Godwins, and it shows Henry Godwin taking the Legion of Doom's finisher and breaking his neck. And they
Yeah.
said it. First of all, they showed the entire thing. It was like
Yep.
it was I don't know. There's just broken bones, and me always gets me. Always
Also
gets
the
me.
neck.
Always gets me. And like the fact that they just so casually were just like, oh yeah, Henry Godwin broke his neck. Hope he's good. And we were just like moving on. They like
Excuse me.
moved right along. And we were just like, this
Wait.
man just snapped his neck on national television. You just played it. And all you're gonna be like is get well soon. Like that's crazy.
And show it from multiple angles. Because the first time I said, I go, ooh, that didn't look good. Then the second close up slow motion, they're like, yep, and that's where he broke his neck.
Right.
Wishing him a speedy recovery. We were like,
oh,
what? We're like,
yeah.
excuse me? Oh God. Oh my God. Horrible. So terrible. Why that footage? Why show me twice? Why close up slow motion? Why so casual?
Right. Especially if you were gonna be like it, you know what I mean? Like if you were gonna move on so quickly. You know what I mean?
And that's that. Not like
I
a
know.
statement. Like it
No,
didn't lead
just
into anything. Like
here's
it
some
didn't.
jarring footage and now we're on. Like, and you're
Yeah,
like,
like not like a comment from Hillbilly Jim. Like we're praying for him. Go I guess recruit Brian Pillman for that. But
amen.
yeah, just didn't go anywhere. But apparently we had to see it. So
yep, honestly. So that leads us into our next match because it does entail the Road Warriors. Taking on Doug Furnas and Philip LaFon, who we actually haven't seen in a wee bit at this
yeah, I
point.
miss them.
Yeah, I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. They get a little like interview kind of backstage before they come out, and basically I don't know, the commentary team really like did them dirty. Basically, they were just like, so why do you think like nobody likes you essentially? And they were just like, they're like, we can't figure it out, honestly. They like this American crowd or like the American crowd that like we're not used to, like aren't used to our style. And then they say something about like the Road Warriors having like a home court advantage every
Wherever
night
they go.
wherever they go in America, and like how it was getting very frustrating. And that's kind of the end of that, which is really like, first of all, the first time we hear them
I was just
say
gonna say
literally
that.
anything. So that might have something to do with why they aren't endearing themselves to the crowd. Maybe because you haven't given them the opportunity to speak in the months and months that they've been here. So
I'm just saying.
you just like throwing out that like no one likes them is a little bit weird. Like, you know what I
Like
mean?
had they won like the tag team Royal Rumble, no?
What?
Or whatever that was.
They won their debut at the Royal Rumble.
Yes,
It was like
that's
a 4-way match. Yeah.
four-way match. Thank you. I was like, because I was like, I know there was more than one. There was like a bunch of people in there,
Mm-hmm.
but and then nothing,
Right.
nothing
Nothing.
at all.
And they're phenomenal. Like they're
They're
phenomenal
amazing.
wrestlers.
They're so good. They're so talented.
Like,
And this is
yeah.
the first time you've ever had them say anything, and it's just about how people don't like them. Like, what are you
What,
trying to? It was
what's
just
the end?
weird.
What was the end goal? Is really
It's
what I'm
so
like confused about.
stupid.
Like, and just like an example, like, Furnas belly to belly suplexed Animal, which is crazy,
Crazy.
crazy, because that literally means you are essentially hugging your opponent and then throwing him over your head, and
Mm-mm.
just that's a 300-pound man. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was wild. It was so beyond.
And you really do get like the sense of what they were talking about as far as like the home court advantage. The crowd
Yeah.
is behind the Legion of Doom, and like,
Yeah.
we love them too. We get
Yeah.
it. We get
Oh
it.
my,
But
you know we do.
um I can see now, like, throughout the match, I probably wouldn't have paid attention to it as much had they not said it beforehand, because
Mm,
I would have just been like hyped also, but
it's
now that I'm
true.
like, oh, like, damn, they're really good,
Hmm.
someone should notice that.
Yeah,
uh
that's true. You feel the sour grapes. You feel them.
mhm. So I just have a note that I was very impressed by the height of Animal's drop kicks, because the
Mm,
Animal is very stout. So the fact that he was getting up there, kudos to you, my friend.
yeah.
Um, so one of I don't know, I don't remember if it was LaFon or Furnas, gets trapped between the two members of the Legion of Doom in what is like a double clothesline like
Yeah. I thought they
situation.
both did by both of them.
You're right, you're right. It was
It was,
both.
yeah,
It
double
was
decker sandwich.
it was like Legion of Doom, both members of Philip and LaFon, other Legion of Doom member, squish. It was
Hmm.
like the
Panini
walls closing
press.
in that I don't remember which episode of Star Wars, I'll get massacred, but when they're all like in that thing and the walls are
I think it's
closing.
episode. Oh, well, I guess it's technically episode what, 4
Four.
because of the prequels. Let's not talk about it. Let's not
Mhm,
talk.
mhm, mhm.
But A New Hope, I think,
Hurt. Yeah, someone will have to fact check us on that.
and they will, and they will.
Somewhere my uncle is listening and probably screaming. So
Sorry, Lee.
that squish essentially leads to the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
The Legion of Doom pick up the victory, and then JR scurries into the ring to interview Doug Furnas and Philip LaFon, and essentially what it boiled down to is rematch and rematch soon is what
I
is the
was,
gist.
I mean, again, if they're pressed for time, I thought they got obviously their point across like
Hmm.
easily, like because I think Doug Furnas said something first where he's like, "Yeah, man, he's just we're just on LOD home court every single night, like I said," and then Doug Furnas is like, "I'll just," or Philip LaFon is like, "And I'll just say this: rematch soon, done."
Got it.
But like, I think that this match was interesting because there was more like they got in there more in terms of like blocking
Mm,
moves. Like they tried to do, what is it called? The Doomsday Device?
yeah.
Well, and I think Doug Furnas was like up on Hawker Animal's shoulders, and then like someone came in, or yes, Philip LaFon came in, pushed him over, so it didn't happen. Like there was more, they
Right.
interfered more. So
Right.
they're like, we're trying to get noticed more. I don't know, is this like
Hmm.
how you guys do things over here? Like, I don't know. I thought it was good, at least good storytelling in that way, because it's like they didn't ever used to do that. They were like very clean matches because they used to get so irritated when Owen and Bulldog used to mess with them.
Right.
And they'd be like, what the heck? Like, this isn't how that goes. Like,
Right.
they would get so annoyed. So I feel like it was a good switch up where, like, you can see the frustration because they're like, no, like,
And them like adapting to this
yes,
style.
this style.
They're like, oh, I have to play this game. So
Yes, for sure.
so we'll see what happens there, because I would love to see them run this back multiple times. Like, give
Agree. Oh
them,
my
give them,
God.
give them. First of all, give LOD the titles, and then um, give them a proper like 20 minutes to like operate in, because that would
Yeah.
be, they would just, with the amount of athleticism that the two of them have and how popular the Legion of Doom is, they would just put on a clinic. It would just be so good.
That's what I'm saying. Agree. 10 out of 10.
Amen. So next we're gonna go down just a series of 3 segments that just get stranger with
Oh,
each segment.
yeah.
So first we get a flashback to Shotgun Saturday, because there was a segment that they did was Sunny Undercover, or Undercovers, I guess technically.
Mhm.
So it was just they brought out a giant bed onto the top of an entrance ramp. Sunny was just kind of like laying in it, I guess, talking to people, like the crowd, when the headbangers just show up and we're like just like climbing into bed with Sunny and like just like making jokes, and they were like,
Mm.
Sunny was just like, I didn't invite you here, like what is she's they were like, of course you did, you said anybody that wants to come under the covers with Sunny can come out here. And it was like, well, that's what you get for talking easy, Sunny, you don't
Yeah.
get
Ooh, talking
to
easy. That's what I'm saying. I do want to point out, I hate that they moved Shotgun Saturday Night out of the random slumlord places that it used to be, because it was in like a regular venue.
Right, yeah, it was like in a just like the
Hate
Hammerstein
that.
ballroom or something, or
Canceled.
yeah.
Put it back in the club. Put it back
That's
in
what
Webster Hall on the 3rd floor, or like wherever it was. Like
and some dusty venue, thank you.
that, dusty, grimy, a little sticky. Like
Mhm.
that's where it should be.
No, I
Don't
agree.
clean it up. Don't colonize Shotgun Saturday Night. Hate
No,
that.
no. Get him out of
Gentrify.
here.
Hate it.
So next we get Ahmed Johnson, which like normally
Mhm.
is you fine, like puts on a good promo. Like I
Mhm.
was very, very confused.
Very scared of this.
Because essentially he starts off pretty like, reserved. He talks about like that the Sultan got injured as a result of him like attacking him with the 2x4. So he's like, "Oh, I like apologize for my actions of last week." And he's like, "But honestly, what would you like me to do?" And then he flies off the handle and just goes into
Off
it and an
the rails.
irate like rant where he's essentially talking about like how like what do you think I should do when I'm getting like attacked by like 3 guys? Like if they want like gang warfare, like I'm gonna give them gang warfare. And you're just like, and he essentially goes like, if you want me, like I'll be right here. And he's just like screaming, hooting and hollering, and we were just like,
Yelling.
the escalation from like the question being asked to where we ended was like whoosh, which is it was exponential, especially considering there was not a member of the nation on this episode. Not
Oh,
like what, like why? It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like
no,
they
totally.
just like he just chased them off and he's angrily ranting at them. You know what I mean? I get that. Like you're out of breath, you're screaming, you're in the ring. That makes sense.
Mhm.
He was chilling in the locker room,
Yep.
cool as a cucumber,
Didn't even have a match tonight. Just hanging out.
just hanging out, hooting and hollering, absolutely flying off the handle.
Screaming. I mean, and it literally went from 0 to 100 real quick. And he's talking about like, "Oh, you're trying to make me get in the ring with 3 guys." I was like, "You literally accepted the challenge.
Right,
You did that." They were
right,
like, here's the challenge, but you'd be crazy to do it." He's like, "Well, guess I'm crazy enough. Accept."
right.
And now you're mad? Now you're big mad, screaming, throwing things in the locker room? And how did we go from I'm apologizing about what's his face, the Sultan, to now I'm screaming about fighting a match with 3 dudes? How did we get here?
Right.
How did we
Don't
get
know.
here?
Don't
Really
know.
crazy. Really crazy.
Really
Bizarre.
crazy. And then it is followed what by a another prayer segment of Brian Pillman. And this is
Mm-mm.
the thing that gets me is that the way that these are set up is we are led to believe that this prayer has been taking place the entire time, because when they cut away from him he's in prayer, when they cut back to him he's in prayer, and
No.
when they cut away from him again he's still in prayer. So
No.
we're just like led to believe that this man is just praying as hard as he can for 2 hours. That's crazy. I was like, you have got to be out of your ever living mind. And second of all, he's out here, first of all, I do not believe for a second that's Owen Hart would not have his slammies on his person.
Thank
Why
you so much for saying that.
why
Thank
is
you.
Brian Pillman in the locker room still praying, just like kissing on the slammies, and like just like wishing Owen like the best. And you're just like, no shot. No
No
shot.
way.
He loves those things more than life itself. Do not tell me that he's just gonna like leave those in the locker room like
You're
all
crazy.
willy-nilly with you when he's about to go out into a Intercontinental Championship match. Don't, please.
You're
Please.
crazy.
You expect him to be two-time Slammy winner Owen Hart without his 2 Slammys? You're on crack.
You're on crack. You're on crack.
No.
Praying on
That was the
crack.
most unbelievable part of that whole segment.
Not Brian Pillman in a satin vest and the ugliest graphic tee you've ever seen praying. It's the fact that he was praying over the Slammies that Owen was not. They were not in Owen's hands. That is 100% correct. The most inaccurate part of this episode.
No, yeah,
You're
it's
right.
not the Ed Hardy. It's not the like best. It is the Slammies. So this curtails us nicely, I guess, into Owen Hart taking on Rocky Maivia, which is true to God the only match on this card that was a match. That was a full match, start to finish. No shenanigans. Like, was an actual story told.
So good.
It starts out with Owen Hart dedicating this match to Bret Hart because for some
my loving
reason,
brother Bret.
We are just like the comparisons of Bret to God in this was like a lot.
It was getting very culty.
Yes, very much so.
Culty. Like Bret is the head deity cult guy, like just the main guy. He's the one that like speaks to Bret and then like prays on his behalf. Like just very,
or the one that actually commits the crime so that the cult leader doesn't like do it, gets
yes, very much that.
Very much that. Very uncomfortable. But like they laid it on thick. It was all of them. It was every last one of them. They were just like, oh, I love you, Bret. I love you so much.
And he was just like in the wheelchair, just like,
yeah,
like, yep,
just approving.
I deserve this. Yeah.
No, yeah, fully. So I just have a note that says, okay, Scruff on Rocky.
We both at the same, it was that moment where we were both thinking it and then one of us said it and you're like, yeah, like, okay, I was about to say that. It was like
yes, it took away some of that baby from his face.
Which, thank God.
Right.
Needed it. It really changed his whole face, actually. Loved it.
Thank God. I will say Jerry the King has a line. It's not like a specific, it's not like a funny. It's just a line that I actually agree with. He basically says that Owen Hart is like the most underrated person in the WWF, and that is so true. It is just so true, and so such true. An ongoing part of his legacy to this day is that he never got his like flowers the way he should have got his flowers. And so shout out to Jerry for that, because it remains as true in that today as it was in that moment. That man is so
shocking to me.
So underrated.
It's really surprising to me because even like I know that you love him, and I obviously when we started watching picked up on that, but he is just like, even objectively, just in terms of his character, how he wrestles, like he is seriously like the whole package.
Yeah, and part of it is because of how tragically he died and the feelings of his immediate family.
Yes.
Because they did not want really any association with the WWE after that, understandably. So it became like a taboo thing to like speak about him. So, in the same vein that like we lose a lot of like great contributions to negative things, this was not, a negative thing that he perpetrated, obviously, but it is in the same kind of vein that like, oh, like this dark thing overshadows their career.
Yeah,
and it's like
really sad.
It is, because he deserves the flowers. He really, really does.
For sure. Yeah, agree. 100%.
This match was great. I thought they had really good chemistry. I think Owen could have a good match with a broom. So but not to say that like Rocky is not talented, obviously, but when you have somebody who is generally like greener, it really helps to have a opponent who is very technically sound, because it makes it easier to kind of get through those moments where like Rocky's a little like clumsy or slow or
Mhm,
like takes a
mhm.
step where you like shouldn't be. Owen does a really good job of making Rocky look good and making
Yes.
and really playing up like his role in the the big group.
Mhm.
Uh so uh this is great. Owen gets Rocky in this like grapevine submission that I was like obsessed with
Yeah.
because it just like like knotted up Rocky's legs like and set up basically the story for the rest of the match in which
Yeah.
Owen essentially attacks Rocky's leg, is just like pit bull like going after it. Um there was an Owen sucks chant that made me sad.
Me too.
I mean,
Honestly, we
I
are such
know,
simps. Yeah, we're terrible. I like because we just love him so much, and then when they don't like him, we're like, oh, come on.
but
And then we get it. We
it
get
is the
it.
point. I know that's like he's the
Yeah.
bad guy right now, but we have the softer eyes of I guess nostalgia. But
Right.
um so Owen's going after the leg. Rocky hits a beautiful float over DDT on Owen.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we see what will become one of the Rock's finishers. He does the rock bottom essentially, but
Mhm.
what will essentially become one of his finishers does get implemented in this match, which is pretty cool. So he's like trying it out. You can kind of
That
see
is
like
really cool.
he's trying like new things to kind of see what sticks, what doesn't work as far
He's
as like a
planting the
crowd
seeds.
reaction, just in the sequence of a match. But it's cool to see someone. It's cool to see him figuring it out because
Mhm.
when I like remember it, you get like really the finished package as far as like
Mm.
my memory goes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, of
I don't
course.
super have a lot of memories of these like him in his early years because again I was 3 years old.
Mhm.
So um like literally had like just turned 3. Like my birthday is in April. This is also in April. Like
Right, right, right. Freshly 3.
yeah. So Rocky hits the rock bottom. Rocky slams Owen, and then Owen does his like signature like pinning combination, which is just like really like he's the one who makes that famous and the reason why people still do that like pinning
Mhm.
combination today. Um but it's just so surprising because you really like didn't think he was gonna get it. Like
Mhm.
I really thought Rocky was gonna kick out or like
So
it
did
was gonna
I.
continue, but he got him.
I
And
was so
and the
happy.
sweet irony of The Rock losing in a very similar fashion to how he won the title is pretty good, not gonna lie.
Love that. Love that. I mean, first of all, I feel like we just talked about this finisher on After Dark because the new Dynamite Kid did it or like
Mm-hmm.
tried to do it and they were like, "Oh, like
A
harkening to
la Owen Hart, yeah.
yeah, so love that. Also, yeah, we were maybe we're biased, but we were both like, "Yes."
No, we
Like
were so stoked.
honestly, I was so excited for him to win. I don't know why I felt that way. Like I was thrilled. And
Mm-hmm.
not to diss Rocky, but like it has been, I'm sorry, like his Intercontinental like championship tour or like whatever
Rain.
him hold it, reign, thank you, has been a snooze fest. I'm so sorry, so
No, you're
boring.
right.
Honk shoe,
You're right.
honk
You're right.
shoe.
You're
I
right.
need a new like I needed something new and like now especially because Owen is in the Heart Foundation, I feel like it creates more like because now he has this thing like oh the Heart Foundation or like Owen took the title from me and now I like there's more
Right.
beef
There's
to
more
be
interest
had.
around him. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. It's just more interesting
And I
in
think that
that
was just
sense.
a product of like it was probably like too soon to put the title on him. Like
For sure.
um because you can only play the like he's a rookie, he wins by surprise like so many times before
Right.
you're like um okay, what do we do now? But also, he's so new that you can't just start having him like take out all of these like established people that you have spent all of this time building up.
For
So it's like, so
sure.
you're not putting him in interesting feuds with these people because don't want to like, you don't want them to lose and like you ruin what you have built. But you also can't just have him lose and lose the title.
Right.
So we were stuck with just very like meh kind of like title defenses against like random people. Um
Mhm.
so that yeah, I think it attributed to the fact that he was just very new and like it was too soon to put the title on him. So there was like not there he doesn't know who his character is. So like you don't like where do you go from there?
Right.
Like
It's so true. So this is thrilling, and the way he ran back to Bret Hart
oh my
and
god.
Bulldog and the way they were celebrating was honestly so delightful. Like it was
It
so
was
funny.
so
Like
cute, yeah.
Bulldog like propped Bret up in the wheelie on the wheelchair and
Oh,
they're
for
like
sure.
doing a little mini tour of the
Yeah, a victory lap.
platform there, a little victory lap, thank you. With all the gold. And honestly, I do live to see Owen have a solo title because obviously he's been sharing
Mm-hmm.
the title, the tag team championship title with Bulldog. And it's cool now because like Bulldog is the European
Mm-hmm.
champion. Owen is the Intercontinental, and then they together share the titles. Like, I don't know. It's just they got a lot of golds on them right
I
now. They got
know,
a
yeah.
lot of golds on them right now. And honestly, it was kind of cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited.
No, I agree. I agree. It's very fun. I'm very excited. Because there is an air of when you got all that gold, there's just an air of confidence that comes with it, and you can't
That's what
deny
I'm
it. What are you gonna be
saying.
like? You're gonna be like, oh no, they're not that great. They have all this gold. What do you mean? Hello?
What do you mean? What
That's
do you
what I'm
mean?
saying. So, what Stone Cold does next really took me out because I thought it was
Oh
just so
my
funny.
God.
So
So
funny.
funny.
So it cuts to just Stone Cold like backstage, just like down the hallways of the arena, just in a wheelchair, just scooting his little ass down,
Where
just
did
like
he get that wheelchair?
playing games, just playing mind games. So he comes, of course, because we're not done. We get Stone Cold out onto the wow, can't talk. Stone Cold comes out, brings the wheelchair with him,
Mm-hmm.
and props it down right in the center of the ring. And he sits down and he's like, so who wants to see a wheelchair versus wheelchair match? And everyone's just like dying because it's absurd. Because
Oh
it's
my
such an
God.
absurd thing to do.
Oh my God, it was so funny. We were laughing so hard because that was your opener. He first of all, he walked in through the crowd, so it took him a minute to get there, and he's carrying this wheelchair and it's like folded up into like, go mode. And then
Mhm.
he just goes like unfolds it, sits down, and just says, "Who wants to see a wheelchair match?" Like that is so out of pocket and so funny.
Yeah,
Like for
and then
no
he
reason.
goes so far as to be like, he's like, "Why don't you wheel your ass down here, Brett? And I promise that I will stay in this chair while we kick each other's asses." And then he goes, actually, hold on, I can't promise that because I'm a lying son of a bitch, and I would get out of this chair and stomp a mud hole in you and walk it dry." And you're just like, "Ooh,
Walk It Dry is crazy. He
that's
says, I love him so much. He says the craziest stuff, and it's like so simple. Like, I'm just gonna stomp a mud hole in you and walk it dry.
I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
walk
I
till
love it
I'm
so much."
dry.
Uh
That's crazy. I
and
love
he's
him.
and he's basically just like so he's like the Heart Foundation's essentially just gathering strength because the last thing they want to see is me as champion. So
Mm.
he's like they're doing the most just because one of you can't get to me. So you need to build an army apparently. And he goes and then he's so funny. He goes like Bret Hart talks about like all of these people are my people. He's like, when I look in the mirror, I see all the people that I have. It is me. It is me, myself, and I. And like the fact that anybody argues that at this point is bonkers. That is
Crazy.
bonkers. The fact, listen, Stone Cold does not give a flying about any of these people. This man is he's got goals and he's gonna achieve them. He don't
Yeah,
care. He don't care if you boo. He don't care if you cheer. That's not his thing. He don't give
does
up.
not
He
care.
does not care. So the fact that Bret Hart, for some reason, keeps like assuming that like the hyenas are like helping Stone Cold is baffling to
He's
me.
like more annoyed about it than Bret Hart is.
That's
He's
what
like,
he's like.
all these people wearing Austin 316 shirts, and he goes, "Will you people shut up?"
No,
And
actually,
like, it's like those are your people. He's like, the only person I have is this right here,
right.
right
So
here.
good.
So amazing. I love that
And
guy.
then he addresses The Undertaker because Stone Cold is the number one contender. Not that you'd really know based on everything else of this episode
Mm-hmm.
until this moment. So he basically goes, May 11th is going to be the coldest day in hell
Love.
because I will walk out as the WWF champion. And you're like, shoot, go off. Just go off.
I
I'd
know
love
this
to
is
see it.
hard for me because I love them both so much, and like they have an interaction later, which we'll get to, but it's like it's hard for me because I I'll wait. I'll wait to talk about it till they interact because I have some feelings about it.
Heard. So, next we get Vader, fresh out of jail, taking on Jesse James.
Oh
Um,
my God.
so
What
it
a
gives
sin.
us the flashback from Good Morning Kuwait, where where Vader attacked a television host and then gets his ass thrown in a Kuwaiti jail for 2 weeks. And apparently, he's back. He's prison hardened and he's ready to he's ready to fight. Like, I was
Oh
like,
my
okay.
God. Also, I think maybe it was JR goes, which really, really out of pocket for you, JR goes, doesn't look like he lost any weight in jail.
Oh, fully. And I
Like,
was like,
oh,
JR, who are you yelling
I was
at
just
him?
gonna say,
I was like,
pot kettle. Let's
that's
not
what
go
I'm saying.
there.
It's not like you're out here. It's not like you're like a triathlon like athlete out here. Like,
Okay, 10-gallon hat, let's calm down.
you're right. I was like, we don't need to talk about other people's bodies like that. Anyway,
Yeah,
so um during this we do get a kind of like intro promo to Ken Shamrock
it was weird.
because what the promo?
Yeah, sorry. I said it was like a doc, it was almost like a documentary on him, but like short.
Next they give us like a video package of Ken Shamrock and it is like it's an odd one. I mean,
It wasn't my favorite.
we get a lot of like it describes him as like he's like clouded in mystique and I was like, is he? Like, that seems crazy. And then he just goes on to just talk about how he loves a challenge, he loves to be challenged, this is a new challenge. For that was just kind of the mo, and then it shows like a weird shot of like him and his whole family just like very Little House on the Prairie. Like, I just didn't like understand what we were getting at,
It was
because like
weird.
if you're trying to make a man look like this like cold-hearted buzzsaw like UFC fighter guy, maybe don't drag out the kids.
Swear,
Maybe
that's what
like
I'm saying.
maybe
You're
we
having him
didn't.
go against Vader, like, because Vader's a bully and he's gonna take down the bullies, and here he is with his kids and his wife, and
Right.
then he has a whole ass dog that's basically Marmaduke. Big old dog. And this dog did not care that he was doing like an interview of the lifetime. He was like yoinking on the leash. He was like running
He was
around. Like this
everywhere.
dog was like so problematic. It was so funny.
So we know that Ken Shamrock's going to be taking on Vader at the pay-per-view, but for now, we're going to put a pin in that.
Hmm.
So, next we get Jesse James coming out and with another rendition of With My Baby Tonight. I don't need this anymore.
No.
I am okay. We are now at the point where I am watching the Netflix show and I want to skip intro.
Oh my
I
God.
want it so bad
Amen.
because I
Ugh.
cannot listen to Aziz Ansari sing this theme song anymore, because that's what it sounds like.
Woof.
It sounds like anytime Aziz Ansari sings anything in Parks and Recreation, it is that.
Gotta
And
skip.
it is the same
Gotta skip.
tone, it is the same pitch. I cannot do it
I'm
anymore.
so sorry, Jesse J. I'm
It
so sorry.
it's not your fault. It really isn't. It is not your fault, Jesse James. No one should have
It's
let you do
true.
this. No one was looking out for your best interest when they did this.
No, it's
Um,
so true. And the fact that like every time you have to
every
sing
time.
every time.
Every time.
I just feel like who's really making out in this deal here? It feels like no one. It feels like there are no winners in this.
Right. He doesn't
Um,
want to do it. They don't want to
we don't
hear
want to
it.
hear it.
Right. So,
Let's just stop.
thank you. Can we all just agree?
Let's just agree. It's over. It's played out. We're done.
So, essentially, this is a squash. This is a squash. There is no
Big squishy.
big squishy. It's time to. This is just designed to make Vader literally look like a hardened criminal. That is
Thank
the
God.
whole point. And uh God, what do I even have? Essentially, he just does two Vader splashes on Jesse James, and that's it. They are just violent. There's
It
just
is
450 pounds, just absolutely crushing ribs times two.
The entrances were longer than the match.
Correct.
Like, it was that I literally just wrote Vader wins in 4 seconds. It was that fast.
Yep. And then JR, who as the match like progresses, was getting more and more just like miffed, I guess, at Vader and like his bullying ways. I don't know if he's got like
I don't get
trauma that he's trying to take out here or what.
Swear.
But like you're projecting a lot, my friend. I don't know what's happening.
No, for real.
And basically he goes into the ring, mistake number 1, with Vader, and he goes, do you have any shame for embarrassing yourself, your family, the WWF? Mistake number 2.
Oh, talk about it.
Who the hell do you think
did you not see the clip?
You just watched this man annihilate another 250-pound wrestler in 4.5 seconds flat after getting out of prison for harassing a like TV show, like talk show host. Baby, that's you. Like, are you crazy? Like, are you? You're nuts.
Like, I'm drawing comparisons and parallels that you should have assumed and understood from
way before you got in the ring.
Way before you got in the ring. And you went and said, I'm going to ask the same question? Yeah. That's crazy.
So he goes, so then Vader goes, he's like, I do what I do. I went over there and I beat up people. That's exactly what I do. I had a job. That's where I do. Yeah. He's like, I had a job. I did it well. I beat up people, period, point blank. I don't understand. He's like, I apologize for nothing to no one. So
amen.
He's like, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Like, don't care. And he really, then JR really like presses the issue. He's like, don't you think you like overreacted? Like, you've been a professional wrestler for how long? Like, is this the first time you've been asked, like, is wrestling fake? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, Vader just like loses it. He's like, you're sounding like an idiot right now. And I think what you need is for me to finish what I started in Kuwait right here with you. He like knocks off his little hat. He takes off his glasses. There is something so scary about someone that large delicately removing your glasses so that he can wreck your face. That's crazy. That is
scary.
That is so scary. Like, that man's giant fingers just coming at.
Chill me to the bone. I hate it.
No, that was absolutely crazy. Luckily for JR, though, Shamrock was in the building. He comes out, does a slam on Vader, which is crazy because, again, he's 450 pounds. And Vader rolls out of the ring, and Shamrock grabs the mic. He's like, it's not going to be Vader time. Like, it's going to be hard times. And then just drops it. And you're like, oh, okay. Listen, I love a short and sweet. Love to see it.
No, I did. I liked it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was good, especially because hard time, like prison time, like you're going to be doing hard time. Love the callback, whatever. Right. But I'm not going to lie, hot take. I agree with Vader on this.
In what regard?
In the regard that, like, why are you asking me this? Like, I don't know.
For sure.
Heated me up, especially even on Good Morning Kuwait. I was like, why are you asking me this? And like, I know that he's just an interviewer and he was like told the questions, and seeing it again and knowing what we know, knowing that he did not know that was going to happen.
Right. I can understand why he would be like,
and the way the interviewer was looking at them like, is anyone going to do anything? And because everyone else knew but him.
Right.
And he's sitting there and crazy. But I was like, I would be pissed too, and I feel like this is a hot take, like a point of contention for a lot of wrestling fans, where it's like, isn't wrestling fake? Like, I too get annoyed about that because it's like, so I'm like, and when JR was like, don't you feel remorse or regret for saying, like, for reacting the way you did when he asked you if wrestling was fake, and the crickets in the crowd, because they were like, no, because that's kind of annoying. Like, I don't know, I was annoyed by that, and he was just like, I went there for a job. My job is to beat people up. That's what I did. And I did time for it. And I did it. And now it's over. And like, I'm back here to beat people up. Like, this is my job. And then he's like JR was literally just like,
no, JR was the aggressor in this interview.
I'm saying
JR came in hot. Like, I'm sorry, but like, if you start any interview like that, like what do you think is gonna happen? Like
That's what I'm
you're
saying.
like I love that JR like was just like I don't know, like he was just like I get it, like you're not a wrestler, like but like you're shrinking away in like this shock, like you didn't know that he's like this. Like that's what's baffling to me is like why are you playing so stupid? Like
that's what I'm
hello,
saying.
I was like first of all, you called his matches for how long? How
Mhm.
long at this point? And not
Mhm.
only that, I know you called them also in WCW. Don't even. You've been watching this man since like 1991. So like don't act like you're just like I don't know what Vader's capable of.
Yeah,
Stupid JR,
please.
stupid. Don't play
Please.
dumb. You're smarter than that. I don't know why they set you up for that nonsense.
I'm saying, and if Ken Shamrock is saying he's coming after bullies, JR was the bully in this scenario. So come
That's
out
what
and be
I'm
like, Vader, it's
saying.
cool. We got a match. We don't have to worry about this non-wrestler man asking us if wrestling is fake after commentating on wrestling for all of these years.
Right. I
And
was
I
like,
get that was just JR's job. It's like a bit. I like understand whatever,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, no, like throw
It
some
didn't make
respect on my boy
sense.
Vader's name. Seriously.
That's
I
what
was
I'm
actually
saying.
so excited to see him. I really was. I was like, I missed him
Right.
wrestling and seeing more
Right,
of
right,
him.
right.
Put some respect on his name, seriously.
No, honestly. Um, yeah. So I don't know. JR was really sipping on something. He was feeling himself because that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yeah.
And so next we have Goldust taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Finally,
Mm.
finally, we have been waiting for this forever. And this is
Mm-hmm.
one that I was like, damn, this was like way shorter than I wanted it to be.
That's exactly what I'm saying. This match, I wanted it to go on so much longer than it did.
Right, because it should have been a match on the pay-per-view. I will say this, I've said it before, I will say it again. It should
Circus
have
track.
been a match on the pay-per-view. There's no
Yep.
reason why you have been building up this feud for however long just to put it on a dark match. Like,
And give me Rockabilly instead. I will never forget.
I will never forgive.
Never
That's for
forget.
sure.
Never forgive. Never forget. Heinous.
So essentially it cuts to a backstage like little segment. Goldust is putting on his makeup,
Love.
and essentially he's like forbidding Marlena from coming down because it's too dangerous. He literally goes like, "What the places I'm about to go are like no place for like a lady."
Lipstick application.
Lipstick. I love that. I love that. I love that, and it was definitely
I
on purpose.
love it.
Um,
Definitely on purpose. And that's they're so subtle and but also so overt. It's
he's
like
so
they
ahead of his time for this like
it's the back
nonsense.
and forth is crazy. The whiplash is crazy. I love them so much.
Yeah, love to see it. The match starts. Hunter's already in the ring. We're pressed for time.
Yeah.
Goldust skips his intro, just runs down to the ring, just starts.
Mm-hmm.
Which made sense because he's been big pissed and he's got
Yep.
many a strike against him to
Mm-hmm.
make revenge for. So this match is they're great. I just would have loved to have been able to see it fleshed out more
A
because it
hundred
started
percent.
out just like fast and furious from Goldust, which is great. We love to see it. He
Mm-hmm.
does get Hunter in the corner, hits him with like the 10 punches, a big schmooch, and
Mm-hmm.
followed by a keister clobber, which I just love. I love that
Mm-hmm.
name. I will never get old to me.
Never.
Uh, China, being China, at one point is attacking the holy hell out of Goldust on the side of the ring while Hunter distracts the ref.
Mm-hmm.
This is becoming very part of Hunter's shtick at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is when Marlena comes running down in just like the just a gold power suit. She
Mm.
she really just like came out dressed to the nines. It was beautiful.
Amazing. She looks so
Um,
good.
it was like a gold lace.
It
It
was
like
like
felt very
okay,
like Christmas decorations almost.
it was like a cream colored base with like gold foil, almost like brocade, like or however you
Mm,
pronounce it, but like that gold where it's like very textured, like
mm.
embroidered gold, like flower, like that
Yeah,
very oh my God, it was
it looked like
amazing.
$1 million. I'll tell you
And it
that.
was fit to her body so perfect, like tailored so perfectly, where she was like she could move, but she looked amazing. Like, but she had I don't know, and her hair was like in a sassy half up, half down, but it was like wavy. I mean,
Mm.
she looked amazing.
Ah, love to see it. Glad she's back.
Me
Um,
too.
and then we get just the most out of pocket commentary this entire episode. When it
Oh
cuts
my
to
God.
China, her hair is like down. She's like mean mugging as she does. And Vince is essentially calling China a lesbian by likening her to Ellen, which I don't know she doesn't look like Ellen.
As
She
in
doesn't
Ellen
sound like
DeGeneres, right?
correct.
Because I missed it at first. I was like, I don't get it. And then your face was so shocked, and I was like, I don't understand. You're like, okay, well, he's calling her a lesbian for no reason, like just because.
Yeah,
And
just
you're
because.
right. The reach to Ellen DeGeneres is beyond.
Right.
Makes no sense at all.
I was just like,
None.
oh no, like you just wanted to like insult this woman for no reason.
For
Like,
what?
and that's what's crazy is like if you like take a step back from this, like he's her employer.
Uh,
And he's just like actively calling her a lesbian on national television. Just solely based on the way her face looks.
Yeah. And not even broaching the topic of the word lesbian as an insult. We're talking
Right.
about being a lesbian as an insult.
Right.
As something bad. Like that but not even touching that. Just the fact that based on how she looks, her and Ellen must know each other, because also all lesbians know each other.
Right.
Just so you know. They all know. They're on the interlink. They know.
It was just like so
stupid.
It was such a stretch, and it was just so unnecessary. It was
Completely.
just like what was the point? Like I don't understand why sometimes they like play her up to be this like strong, like fierce, blah blah blah, and then sometimes they just take shots at her.
Thank you.
I don't get like which is it? Which are you going with? Because y'all need to decide as a commentary team how the hell you're going to sell this competitor. Because for some reason, you guys can't figure it out. Because it doesn't make any sense that 1 week you're praising her, the next week you're dogging on her face. And like, give me a break. Like, that's so tired and lame. Like, I can't. Like,
and that's
pick one. If you're gonna dog on her, dog on her. If you're gonna like sing her praises, sing her praises. But like, don't go flip flop back and forth, because it's just like extra like confusing for everybody watching at home. And also it's just like I know I'm getting heated because we're watching through the lens of 2024, but it's just so lame. It's just so lame.
Because
like,
it's first of all, it's even at that time is like low-hanging fruit. Like it's like stupid. And again, I think you're right. It's just the whiplash of back and forth. It's like, because we've talked about this, because there was one other time we were like, why?
Right.
Suddenly we're talking about how ugly she is, when first of all, she's not. Second, like I just literally, you were calling her the bionic woman the other night.
Right.
Like, I don't like the back and forth is crazy. Like just pick. I don't know. So stupid.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not even like, the thing is like, it'd be one thing if it was like Jerry, who's like the color commentator, like that's his shtick,
yes, agree.
Is to be but it's all of them. It's all of them across the board. Like, and so it's just like, why don't you let the color commentator do the color commentary and you guys just stick to calling the match? Because like that's crazy. Because like you can't like that is crazy that all three of you are just like dogging on one like it just doesn't sit well with me, and I like will not get over it. Like,
no, agree, because if Jerry had said something and then JR had been like, well, you can't deny she's strong, like she's whatever, like had kind of first of all, that makes sense as your dynamic as the commentators.
Correct.
So it's not out of pocket. And like second, it's just like it makes more sense for Jerry to say that. Like I don't know, whatever. It was just
off.
Flop.
It was off-putting and like
all
unnecessary. So apparently it was announced that like Mankind was suspended due to his actions from last week. Sure. I guess I don't know. They could have just not had him on this episode, and I wouldn't have thought anything of it.
I would not have thought about it.
Because apparently he's going to be back next week, so I'm going to forget that they even mentioned this suspension in passing anyway, so I don't think it really matters. I do love that Marlena, we have this moment where China starts like encroaching on Marlena, and Goldust, puts himself between his woman and this woman, and China just like walks like right around him. She's like,
excuse me.
Right. She's like, I had things to do. And that's when Marlena just like reaches into her little gold little pouch and just powders China right in the face. And it was great. It was glorious.
So good. Also loved that it was powder this time instead of glitter, because usually it's like the gold dust. And she said, powder, this is my thing. This isn't specifically for Goldust, like this is for me.
Right. No, this is my comeuppance.
A la Lose My Breath, Destiny's Child.
Oh, literally. So the what happens next is just truly impressive.
Amazing.
Because Triple H comes out to check on China. China can't see, obviously, so she assumes that it is either Goldust or Marlena, grabs Hunter by the neck and just lifts him up, just feet kicking like a little kid. Just absolutely bonkers. Love to see it. Love to see it.
So crazy. So good. And people flipped out.
Because
Like
it's
the crowd,
crazy.
I mean, we flipped out. It was so crazy. She just went, first of all, she's blind. She can't even see. And she just goes, all right, well, I'm going to choke you up here. Like, it
Right.
just, in and of itself is crazy. But then the fact that it's her and like she's just, that's Triple H, and like I don't know, it was so good. People screamed, I screamed, it was amazing.
So
Like
that
so good.
allows Goldust to win via a countout victory, which is not super satisfying, but I will say I do love the bit with China, so it was okay.
Loved.
Like, it was fine.
It was
Like,
fine. No, I'll accept it. I'll 100% agree. When they said it was a victory by countout, I was like, oh, come on. Like,
right. No, yeah.
fine,
I would
but
have loved to have
whatever.
seen it. But like I am glad that um I am glad like China's involved. You know what I mean?
100%. And I will say, and I know I don't know all of the tea, and one day we will get to the tea about China and Triple H. But the way that he was like really, it felt like he's such a good, he sells so good. Like he really seems so concerned for the fact that she got like powder thrown in her face. And it was kind of interesting because it seems almost out of character for Hunter Hearst Helmsley at this time, because he's just like, whatever. Like he seems self-centered.
Well,
And
like
then the
up to this
way,
point, he was just like exchanging women like
like
literal things to thieve. So
a
like
100%, like, yeah, just like property, like so weird. So the fact, like that part where he seems so genuinely concerned for her and like is escorting her out and like literally pushing her hair out of her face and trying to wipe her eyes, I was like, oh, this is like actually kind of sweet. Like he's like really worried about her. Like it made me kind of sad for them.
LOL.
And like I know, again, I know some tidbits of like what's to come, but like it just was like it was a good glimpse like into like who he is. I don't know. I just really liked it.
Heard. I I respect that. So next we get the Undertaker gong. As they're not even like out of the arena yet. That's how you know we're like for time. So
Yeah.
like they're not even like out up the ramp yet. Gong, Undertaker on the Titantron. Essentially he's talking about like he gets asked about Paul Bear and Mankind, and he's like essentially all I'm gonna say is like the one who covets the flame gets burned. So I was like, oh well, I mean, they started it with the fire, so he's essentially just like, you brought it in here, you got burned. I don't know. That's not on me. That's on
So
you.
true. I love that he
Uh
took that stance.
uh oh, and then and then the Undertaker addresses Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he's essentially like, if you come into this match distracted, uh you may just end up worse than needing a wheelchair. Like you may just rest in peace. And
Amazing.
that was it. Short, sweet, to
Amazing.
the point.
So good. Could not have been better.
And then we cut to Brian Pillman, who is still praying. Only
Ugh.
this time he's praying for the Bulldog and snotting. So there was that.
You cannot even imagine the snot.
Ugh,
You can't.
it's
Praying
so
so
gross.
hard, just the mm-mm. I don't even want to go into it.
Again,
So
that
gross.
is some like culty nonsense. All right, like praying so hard you have no control over your faculties. Like, let's get it together. So like, okay. Also, like, not for nothing, the last time we saw you, you were like holding someone at gunpoint. Like, I
I'm
don't
sa-
like, you know what I
I'm
mean? Like,
saying.
I don't buy that the guy that was defending his home with a gun is out here just like,
Actually,
what?
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
I guess that is kind of a thing.
actually, I was like,
You're like, I take that back, actually.
okay, anyway. When you started doing it, I was like, wait a minute.
No, you're right. You're 100% correct. Actually, I guess it tracks.
Woo, okay.
So I'm getting like warm. So
I know, me too. Woo.
so Next, it is the British Bulldog taking on the Undertaker. This is a non-title match, much to the confusion of the British Bulldog because he didn't know. So
yeah, that was really took him by surprise.
He also dedicated this match to Bret and essentially was like, I'm gonna win the WWF championship. And everyone, including Vince on commentary, was like, this is a non-title match, actually.
Just to confirm yet again, non-title
I was like,
match.
there is no prize to be had here. So and you're like, okay. We do find out that the name of the pay-per-view is going to be In Your House, Cold Day in Hell, and I love to see it. Love to see it. I will say that the way that that Owen sells the Undertaker's entrance,
thank God.
Give that man $1 million.
Swear
it was
to God.
so good.
So
he hears the gong, the lights go out, and he's just like literally like he saw a ghost. And I love to see it. I love to see it because the Undertaker only works and doesn't get like stale if everyone believes that he is this like outer worldly thing.
True.
So like for you to believe it at home, they gotta believe it on stage. So if like you can really tell when someone's like respects the dead man like that, when like Owen's not even in the match. It's not even his moment to sell, but he's all over it.
No, we both laughed so hard at that. It was just so good. And then when he walks by and Owen's just like,
no, terrified, actually.
So
terrified.
like he was literally like, if I don't move, maybe he won't see me.
No,
like he was
yeah,
so
actually,
scared. Like
so good, so
amazing.
good, so good. Love to see it.
Love him for that.
This match is also all of 3.5 seconds long, really, because not for nothing, but Owen comes into the ring and just starts attacking the Undertaker.
Which was bold.
That causes a disqualification. The two of them, the British Bulldog and Owen Hart, are just going after the Undertaker when Stone Cold comes out of the crowd to settle the score. So it is Stone Cold and the Undertaker being unlikely allies for a few short moments as they kind of take care of the Hart Foundation. They run them essentially out of the ring, and Stone Cold grabs the WWF Championship belt, runs up to one of the ring posts, climbs up top, and like holds it up in the air as if he's already won it. Girl. And the Undertaker is just standing behind him, like, "Hey, girly, you're forgetting one little crucial detail about how you get to that point. That's me.
That's big ol' me. That's little ol' me."
So they have this like stare down kind of like confrontation like in the center of the ring, and it just feels bigger. You know what I mean? Like they've fought before, but like this time it feels just huge. More like charged, I guess.
100%.
And the Stone Cold Steve Austin stuns the Undertaker just at the drop of a hat. Point blank period, drops him in the middle of the ring.
Really took him off guard.
And then Stone Cold's, of course, he does not do anything without trash talk. There is not one without the other. So he gets right up in the Undertaker's face, is flipping him double birds, talking his ish.
Could you imagine?
To the Undertaker? No, please.
No, that's really crazy.
When
that's
the
really
Undertaker
crazy.
Just wakes up, sits up, goozles him, got him again, right by the neck, and then takes Stone Cold up, choke slams him, and we love to see it. We love to see it. We love to see it. Basically, that's the period on the Undertaker. He's like, you're not gonna get away with any of that easy. I don't know who you think you're messing with, but I am the dead man.
Yeah, like
I was like, I am deceased already. You're gonna have to bring more.
Try harder.
So then Steve starts going after Bret because like he can't leave well enough alone. So he's like running up the ramp, like taking off his shirt, you know, as angry straight guys do. And it's true. That's accurate.
They're like, ugh!
No, yeah. The number of like times I've been in like New Brunswick watching like drunk college guys like take off their
Oh,
shirt just to like quasi fight on a street
just
is
to
like
pace back and forth,
they
like
they should have been paying me for that. So like so he goes gets all up in like Bret's face, and it looks like he's actually gonna go to town when out from behind the curtain, we get the return of Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
crazy.
So I knew it was coming, didn't know when. So here he comes, an original member of the Hart Foundation, comes up behind Stone Cold, knocks him down, which allows Bret Hart to take his like wooden crutch, which like we definitely had the other ones by this point. I don't know why we're
Was it
using.
wooden?
Yeah, it was like a wooden crutch because it broke. Like it like
Well, I
uh,
thought that's why I thought it was metal and that's it like bent and like snapped off, but you could definitely be
it
right.
it was like a wood color.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like
I'm
a
sure
like
you're right.
so he takes the crutch, smacks Stone Cold with it. Stone Cold just like falls off the stage, just falls from whatever height the stage is lifted up to, just right off the cliff. Um Austin gets carried out after that point because he's just like laid out on the ground, just dead to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, thus fulfilling the prophecy, I guess, laid out by Bret Hart.
Dang.
And then for some godforsaken reason,
Girl.
we cut to Brian Pillman
Mm-mm.
just like
Ew.
we assume he's like lost in prayer still, and then he just like looks at the camera and like gives the creepiest like horror movie jump scare like
I was just gonna say
zoom smile of all time. It
horrifying.
was so jarring because he's like just praying and then he's like and then that's the end of the episode. Black. Done. You're just like, no thank you, no thank you. It's like that one video, I don't know if you all will know what I'm talking about, but is essentially it's like you send it to your friends that you like don't really hate or that are like a
I
little drunk, and you go, here, watch this car, and it's this
no, I
car
hate you. I hate you
driving
so much. Why
driving
would you bring this up?
driving through like this road, and then all of a sudden it like jump scares you with like the bitch from The Ring or something. Like it's just like a scary face. It is that. It is essentially that. They invented it. I had no idea. So
Yep. Well, now we
like,
know. Now we know the origin story of that. But yeah, it was jarring to say the least. He has way too many teeth in that head. And it was all it needed was like the Joker, like the ha 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 laughing, like as it turned to
mm,
black, and then it really would have been like really scary.
yeah, I don't know. It was just the presentation of Brian Pillman in this was just so out of left field that I just like could not for the life of me like make heads or tails of it. You're like I'm just like, where did this man come from? Because that this is some mental gymnastics we got to play to like understand the logic of like suddenly he's just like one for the Lord, but he's like, but Bret is the
I
Lord,
was just gonna say, but the Lord is Bret Hart.
and like it's just like I don't get it. I don't
He's
get
like
it. I'm confused.
praying for our souls because we wanted the violence, but then he's praying for the evisceration of Stone Cold. Like,
Which seems pretty violent, just saying. So like,
sounds like I don't know, Uno
mm,
reverse something.
right, no,
Just
literally.
really confusing. But yeah, very odd. Didn't expect. I'm not gonna lie. This is would not have been on my Brian Pillman return bingo card.
No, not at all.
Would not have done
Mm-mm.
that. Would not have ever guessed that in a million years.
Yeah.
So
So now we have the Hart Foundation essentially in full force. This is Bret Hart is injured, so we will have to see him rolling around in a chair for a wee bit longer.
mhm.
Um but this is all of the members of the Hart Foundation. So they're all here, they're all back.
Gang's back
They got a lot of
together.
gold.
They
So
got a lot of gold. So
I
crazy.
think we have, I don't know, one or two more episodes before the pay-per-view. So that's that on this episode. Thank you as always for checking us out wherever you check us out. If you haven't seen our two interview episodes, both with Woody from Suplex Vintage Wrestling and Robert Martyr, you should definitely do so. If
Yeah.
you also are interested, we just put out an episode about the Dynamite Kid, where we kind of tracked both his professional and personal trials and tribulations, and then we watched the British Bulldogs win the tag team championships at WrestleMania 2, as well as the debut of the new Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington, during AEW Collision a couple weeks ago. So lots of wrestling to be had, lots of wrestling to learn. As always, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time.
We'll see you there.
Bye.